All right, let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about one of the most, well, elegantly destructive pieces of code ever made. We're about to pull back the curtain on a digital mystery that honestly sounds like it's pulled straight from a sci-fi movie.
So here's the big question, the one that sounds totally impossible. Could a tiny file, one that's small enough to just attach to an email, secretly be holding an amount of data so massive it would take thousands of high-end computers just to store it? It sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what we're digging into today.
To get our heads around this, you have to meet the culprit. Now, it has a few different names, like decompression bomb, but its most famous, and probably its most fitting nickname is the zip of death.
So what exactly is it? Well, technically it's a malicious archive file, but it only has one single destructive job: to make whatever program or system tries to read it completely crash and burn.
Now, this is what makes it so interesting. Unlike pretty much all the other malware you hear about, a zip bomb isn't trying to swipe your passwords or your credit card info. Nope. Its goal is way simpler and honestly a lot more chaotic. It just wants to cause pure, unfiltered digital mayhem.
The way it attacks is by creating a sort of digital flood. A program sees this tiny little file and starts to unpack it, and the data just keeps coming and coming and coming until every single resource the computer has, its processing time, its hard drive space, its memory, is completely maxed out. The system literally just grinds to a halt. Okay, so how in the world is that even possible? How do you cram that much stuff into such a tiny little package? Well, the secret is surprisingly simple and kind of brilliant.
See, the whole trick hinges on exploiting the way data compression works. Just think about it for a sec. If you have a text file with the letter A typed out a billion times, a compression algorithm doesn't need to save a billion A's. It can just save one little instruction that says, hey, write the letter A 1 billion times. This makes the file incredibly small. Zip bombs just take that exact idea and push it to an epic scale.
And that brings us to the second part of the trick: nesting. It's like one of those Russian matryoshka dolls. You open the first zip file, and inside, 16 more zip files. You open one of those, and you guessed it, there are 16 more inside. This keeps going, layer after layer after layer, until the very last files are unzipped. And that's when the gigantic data tsunami is unleashed all at once.
Now, this isn't just some abstract theory. Let's talk about the most famous example in the history of this digital weapon. The one, the only, the legendary 42.zip.
It all starts right here, a single file that is just 42 kilobytes. To put that in perspective, that's smaller than the icon for most of the apps on your phone. It is tiny.
But when it's fully unpacked, it expands to 4.5 petabytes. No, that is not a typo. Petabytes. The difference in scale is just, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. And there it is. Looks pretty harmless, doesn't it? Just another file icon sitting there. But we know that tucked away inside that innocent-looking package is a digital monster just waiting for someone to click on it. So here's the bottom line on this crazy scale. 42 kilobytes is a small icon. 4.5 petabytes is just an astronomical amount of data. We're talking more storage than you could fit on literally thousands of top-of-the-line computers all working together. All of that from that one tiny file.
So you might be thinking, if these things are so dangerous, why isn't the internet just constantly crashing under the weight of zip bombs? Well, that's a great question. Let's talk about how our digital defenses got smart and learned how to fight back.
The good news is our security experts figured this trick out a long time ago. Modern antivirus software is specifically built to not fall for this. It can spot a zip bomb from a mile away before it ever gets a chance to do its thing.
And the solutions are actually really clever. Antivirus programs are just programmed to be super suspicious. They'll only dig a few layers deep into one of these nested archives before they stop. They check the compression ratio, and if it seems impossibly high, boom, red flag. And they can even take a little peek inside the file to spot all that telltale repetition without actually having to unpack the whole thing. It's basically like defusing the bomb without ever letting it go off.
So what's the big takeaway here? What can the story of the zip bomb really teach us? Because it's a lot more than just a cool piece of old-school computing history.
At its core, it's this perfect illustration of the never-ending cat-and-mouse game that is cybersecurity. But the real lesson is how the attack works. It doesn't exploit some bug or a technical flaw. It actually weaponizes a totally normal, useful feature, compression, and turns the system's own logic against itself. The most elegant attacks you see, they don't break the rules. They use the rules to create chaos.
And that leaves us with one last, kind of chilling thought. The zip bomb is decades old now. It's a relic from a totally different era of computing. But the philosophy behind it? That's timeless. And it really makes you wonder, what other fundamental, everyday tools of our digital lives are just sitting there waiting for some clever mind to turn them into the next zip bomb?